Welcome to Daily Conversation. This is Mr. K.
This is Eric.
Yeah, today is the 23rd of September 2021, and the time now is 6:17 a.m. Well, our topic today is share a meaningful quote you've seen recently. Right, so before we get started, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, so here we go. Okay, so for me, the quote I would like to share, which I recently seen, is is one of the greatest forms of freedom comes from knowing what is important to you, and it grants you the freedom to ignore anything else. All right, and then yeah, for this, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hello.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, what did you say?
Can you repeat again the code?
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, the quote is one of the greatest forms of freedom comes from knowing what is important to you. And then it grants you the freedom to ignore anything else.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So do you want to say yours or later?
No.
Okay. Yep. So for this quote, I think yeah, it talk about freedom and it talk about knowing what is important to us. And I found that yes, for this one, um, if we didn't focus on what is important to us, and then um, we will found that maybe we will be struggling, we will be busy, and for this one, it reminds me of one of the concept, which is task management and then time management, yeah, which we have came across previously. And yeah, for these two tasks, for these two um, strategy, talk about time management. And for this one, yeah, I used to have this strategy. I used to write out a to-do list, and then there is time, let's say from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. I have a particular task, and then maybe after that I have another, and I try to write it down like that, and then I try to assign different tasks into different time slot. And yeah, for this one I found that um, at the time when I was when I was sketching the to-do list, and I find that oh, it is okay, but by the time that I want to carry out those tasks, and I found that yeah, sometimes the time that I give myself is too little. I couldn't finish it, and then it affects the whole to-do list. Yeah, and then it's also quite tiring because we have so many tasks in a day. And yeah, for this one, I think maybe one of the problem is my efficiency, and another problem is maybe time management isn't the best way comparing to task management. Yeah, I think everyone um, yeah would would encounter the same problem as me if they have a lot of tasks, if they apply time management. And then let's say if we choose task management, yeah, for this one, we actually will focus more on the priority of the task, so that we tend to uh, prioritize those which is more important, which is more urgent, and then we'll do it first. So maybe in the to-do list, maybe we still have a to-do list, and we will do those tasks first, and then maybe in a day when you do it, and then one by one, and then you found that maybe at the end of the day you couldn't finish all, but at least you do the most important things first, and then maybe the remaining one couldn't be done, but maybe that they are not so urgent, they are not so important. Yeah, so comparing these two strategies, task management gives uh, uh, the concept of priority. So I think this is something important. Yep, and then yeah, also because recently we read the book Atomic Habit, and then we learn a lot of things about forming habits and a lot of techniques to form habits and break habits, dealing with habits. And yeah, actually, I found that the quote here, knowing what is important, also, uh, uh, yeah, it's also a thing need to be applied when we use all those techniques dealing with habits, when we have a plan to, let's say, to start forming habits. Yeah, for here, yeah, we can form any habits that we want, but I think it is important to know what is important also. Yep. So only the habits that you think is important, and only then we try to form it, and then also considering identity, yeah, which is a term in the book Atomic Habits, and yeah, it's something like uh, we need to know the objective of forming a habit. Yeah, and sometimes uh, we may not get the correct one. And I remember that there is a part at the near the end, near the ending, which is review. Yeah, I think for here, review is again reminds the importance of review. Getting the right if we found that a particular habit isn't that effective or isn't that important to us anymore, then we need to something like make a change. Yep. And then yeah, so even though you can make habit, but it seems like it is not that having more habit is better than having less habit. Yeah, it is not necessary like that. So yeah, sometimes if we have a lot of things to do, we have a lot of habits to do. Yeah, it is a question mark whether we will be happier because of that. So I think knowing what is important to us um, will make us do the things that we only need to do, and we are not so busy. We are not so uh, distracted. Yep. And then um,
What is the only field? What? Sorry. What is the only field most important thing? Will takes all your time. Will distract all. Will distract you
mm,
all the days and all the time.
um, oh, it means that we have too many important things to do, right?
For example, not not necessarily need to uh a lot, not necessarily needs many, but
Mm,
you feel, for example, first one, money, and second, your health,
yeah.
third, relationship, and a
Mm,
career. Just these four things. This is
mm,
this is the biggest things in your life.
yeah.
And yeah, just about this four thing will take is everyone will agree this is important, and you just focus on these four things, and the times will exhausted. Mm.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Also, for these four, I think, yeah, really, it is a big thing in our life. But I think maybe if you look into these four things, and then inside them we can also have something like what to do, what is the important to do with regard to this. Um, let's say, for example, if let's say is health. Yeah, if you want to deal with health, which is one of the things that we think is important, and then yeah, we can also think like what is important to do to deal with health. For example, I think meditation is needed, so this is something I need to do. And also maybe I think doing exercise is needed, it is important, so I do it. And then after that, maybe I think maybe giving myself to watch TV, giving myself the time to watch TV isn't that important, and uh, maybe it just gives you pleasure, so I can replace it with exercise. So I didn't have to do that. And then maybe for here I can apply habits, the habits techniques to deal with this, so that
Mm.
we try to compare the things uh, inside the four things that you mentioned, for example, and then I think we can free out some times and energy also from here.
Yeah, I understand. Uh, but what are the relationship between what you have said and about uh the atomic habit, which is the 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 tiny habit inside the four things. Just now you say you need to
Mm,
focus on important things, and yeah, if you just only focus on important things, which is the tiny habits inside this four category,
mm.
it already take all your time. And what is the implication of the focusing on important things that you mentioned just now?
Focus on important things. You mean the topic today?
Yes, correct.
Mm. Yep. And yeah, I think the one of the problem even with this quote is sometimes it is hard to find out what is important to us in it times. So
But everyone, in my opinion, everyone knows in something unimportant and something important. They definitely know. But the reality is not that easy because not many things are urgent. If the things are urgent, and also important, we will do it first. And if all of our things are urgent and important, how can we deal with that? All
yeah.
in the same category. And in our reality, most of the things, okay, sorry, I couldn't say most of things, but there are many things which is important,
Mm,
but not all of them are urgent in the same times. So
mm,
some of them will come urgently, and but some of them will come urgently, maybe 5 years later or 2 years
mm,
later. But some uh will give you a sample urgent right now.
mm,
And but how do you manage it, right? If you
mm,
just do the simple task management, urgent and importance, and not urgent but important, and sorry, the first row is urgent. So one is urgent and important, another is urgent and unimportant,
mm,
and the second row is unurgent. So it's unurgent and important.
mm.
Fourth one is unurgent,
Urgent.
unimportant. So
Unimportant. Okay.
no, we want to abandon the fourth one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But how? And also the first one, which is urgent and important.
Mm.
No, we need to do it first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so how do you allocate the time for the for the urgent and unimportant?
Yeah. Yep.
So the not urgent but important.
Mm.
Yeah. Because the importance can change over time, and the
Yep.
the urgent can also change over time.
Right.
And also, yeah, even though you can solve the problem, you put the priority, and what if the um the things inside the thing inside each category except the fourth one?
Mm.
How can you manage it? How can you put the priority uh on that? Yeah. For example, health. For example, career. Yeah.
Mm.
To you need to you want to pursue career, and but at the same time you also want to pursue health. At the same time you also want to pursue relationship. And yeah, if you only have limited time, how can you pursue all of the things you want to pursue at the same time?
Mm. Yeah.
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 So I think the implication of this code is yeah, you need to focus not on you need to focus on the important things. Yeah. And also, just like you say, you need a priorities. Yeah, you need a priority, and that priority is not that easy to find out, to sort out. And
Mm.
also you need to choose. For example, in those important things, what is the most important things? If you can only do one thing, what is the thing you want to do? So it go back to uh it go back to the sentence, it go back to the quote that I always
Mm.
mention in our conversation, which is, what is the thing you really, really, really want to do in your life? Yeah. So it actually go back to the same things that we
Mm.
mentioned in the previous conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for example, yeah, you need money, and also health is important, because if you have 1 million, 1 trillion, it doesn't matter if you only have left like one day.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, both of these also important, but how can you balance it?
Mm. Yeah. 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 And also, yeah, just now you're right. Those things that are not important, but sometimes they are urgent. And yeah, those things I think is a challenges to us. And I remember uh, um, you said something previously, which is like why the poor's is having more, something like having more obstacles to get rich compared to the rich. And one of the thing is that they need to do a lot of things, right? They have a lot of things for them to solve in their daily life. And all those things is urgent because they deal with the daily things. And then are they important? Uh, um, it is important, but I would say that that would be basic to maybe to other people. That is basic. That is not considered important if we talk about your goal is maybe you need to get rich, for example.
Mm.
Yeah. All right, and then yeah, I think one more thing can be added. I suddenly uh, have the mind of have the idea, which is one of the previous topic, which is a video review about the action plan. Yeah, creating an action plan, something like that. And I think if you look at a bigger picture, for what is important to us, maybe creating an action plan is a good way to do. And because in the action plan we will have the objective, the things that we want to achieve, and also we will list out something like what we can do, and then we'll also have something like the deadline. So I think maybe it can help a little with uh, switching our focus to what is important to us.
Mm, yeah. But how can you set the action plan to your health? How can you set a deadline to your health?
Mm,
How can you
yeah.
set a time for your career? And we need to know many things is out of our control. So, for example, we say we want to get promotion by end of this year. Just
Mm,
like James Stockdale, uh, he answered the question, which is, who are the person who definitely couldn't couldn't leave, couldn't stay,
mm,
couldn't survive
yeah.
in the prisons. So they say, yeah, very easy, the optimist. Because they always think they will get out by end of this uh by end of this year. And
Mm,
yeah, and when the time passed, and definitely they couldn't get out. Yeah,
yes.
and they'll say, yeah, so they'll get out by uh, before Christmas. Yeah.
Mm,
So after 1 year, the Christmas passed, and they still couldn't get out. So they lose their faith.
mm, yeah.
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 What I want to highlight here is uh, there are a lot of things which is out of our control. So
Mm,
we can't really control the deadline, and there are a lot of things which is not the thing. You just need to put in effort, and after you dance and everything set off. Yeah.
mm, right.
The most important thing, which inside this four category is something that you need to keep continuing. You need to form a sustainable habit to keep continuing doing that. So it's not something like once you eat the food and then everything will be set off. So
Mm,
you won't get illness in future. When you get a job, when you get the promotions, and everything will be set off, and you don't need to worry about the money.
mm,
You still need to worry about money, even
yeah.
though you say I want to save, I want to save. Sorry, I want to accumulate, let's say 1 million. And after you accumulate 1 million, you still need to monitor your wealth. You still need to monitor your spending.
Mm,
Otherwise, the 1 million uh will be will be spent. And also you need to consider about your investment. Yeah. So if you couldn't generate enough investment income, and then so your income couldn't cover your spending. If that's so, then it's the plan is not sustainable. There will
mm,
come a day which is you spend all your money.
yeah. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. So uh yeah, so but really we need to focus on the important things. And yeah, for example, if you tell an average person, or if you
Mm,
tell a person just graduate from college, if you tell them, yeah, you need to you need to deal with the importances, you need to work uh uh you need to only work for those important things in your life, and
yeah.
say, yeah, everything is important. Yeah, everything is important. Mm.
Mm,
But they still can like kind of like slowly recognize what's unimportant, and they try to cut off the times. For example, like playing games, like watching TV, and
Hanging out with friends.
yeah, those are things that at least they still can find out and try to change their habits. Yeah,
Mm.
try to put the times on the priority on the thing they want to work for. But if so, this is the case. But if you tell them, yeah, you need to focus on the most important thing in your life. They couldn't sort out the important thing. How can they sort out the most important thing in their life?
Mm.
Just throw a bigger question to them.
Yeah.
So I think the first layer is you need to understand what is important to you. And the second layer is among these important things, what is the most important thing you want to do in your life?
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So this is the first one, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, this is the only quote I would like to talk about today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have few quotes, and I wouldn't do much explanation.
Mm.
Okay, the first one is the quote I read from Alchemist, which is also the quote I mentioned yesterday. The quote is the opposite of good idea can also be good idea. Yeah. So this is a really wonderful quote. Mm. And
Mm.
and the next one is also a quote come from a book, but the book name is No More Mr. Nice Guys. Yeah, this is also a wonderful book, which is the book I read currently. Mm.
Okay.
And one of the quote in this book is "Be yourself, live to your potential." So there's two part, which is the first is be yourself,
Mm.
and the second part is live to your potential. Yeah, and we know be yourself. Somebody uh, somebody actually not sure what is the meaning of be yourself.
Mm.
And for example, if you keep pleasing other people, if you keep like uh always, I mean always doing the contribution for
Yeah.
people, yeah. So you giving, you like giving. But is that the thing you really want to do? You may say yes, you may say no, and
Mm.
sometimes yes is just the answer on it's just the answer on the surface, and actually inside your mind is the answer is no, and you give something because you kind of like want to expect a returns, and once the returns uh, didn't once you couldn't get the returns, and you will and you will screw out everything, and you will blame other people, something like that. So this is a very critical problem in relationship. Yeah, no matter it's in uh the romantic relationship, or no matter it is in a friendship.
Mm.
So you shouldn't keep contribution. You shouldn't keep doing something like the sacrificing yourself for other people. And
Mm.
most of the people think that not most of the people, I mean most of the Mr. Nice Guys will think that by doing so you can get the relationship closer. But actually people are afraid that yeah, people don't know why you want to uh do do at the do at this stage, do uh do at this level. Yeah, because it seems like too extreme to them, and it seems like you have no point to help them like this. Yeah, so they're afraid, and they'll leave you. Yeah, and maybe they are not leaving you ever. But once you realize that they kind of like want to be away from you, and you start to blame them. Yeah, so this is the symptoms of the Mr. Nice Guy. One of the symptoms. So
Mm.
another way of living is be yourself. Really find out what you want to do in your life, and work for your desire, not work for other people's desire. Giving other people when you have abundance of that. Not giving other people, you have nothing with that. You have very little to that. Yeah. And giving people that giving other people that other people need, other people want, not give things to the people that you want, you need. Yeah, your need and your wants is not other people wants and needs.
Yeah.
If you give the things to other people, don't expect returns.
Right.
So, many point together. How can you give? How can you still give? How can you still giving, but don't expect? But kind of like not expect the returns. Is when you give something that you have a lot, so you won't expect the returns.
Yeah.
So, there are many points here, and you need to group them together so that you can see a big picture. So this is the first part. You should be yourself. Yeah. And the second part is a leap to your potential.
Yeah.
So it actually can link to the first part, which is if you keep work for other people's desire, work for other people's wants and needs, you keep giving, you keep sacrificing yourself, you can't be your potential. Yeah, only when you work for your desire, only when you work for your wants, your goals, your needs, so you can lead to your potential. And it also align with the self-actualizations. Yeah. What human being can't. What human being can be, it must be. Yeah. It's also the code similar to lead to your potential. So this is second code. And the third code is, every time I heard the brands of Nike, I will just remind ourselves, just do it. This is a very wonderful quote and a slogan. And past, I put very little importance and very little weight on actions, but now I actually put action at the highest weight. If you have a lot of thinking, and if you plan a lot, you spend a lot of time on planning, but you didn't do it, and the thing won't come to you. Yeah, they never come to you if you don't take actions. So it's the third code, just do it.
Yeah.
And the fourth code is from one of the video, and the video is filmed by the Greenfield, which is one of the Monday video review that you share to us. Yeah. And from his other video, one of his video is talk about the simplicity. How can you downsize your life? Yeah. And for just a little piece of information.
Yeah.
Rob Greenfield, he just he can travel all around the world, and he just need to he just need 44 possessions, which means the 44 things, and he can put all the things into his bag, and this is all the things they need to use for daily. Yeah, 44 things, excluding the Greenfield don't need the house, don't need the car. Yeah, just need those daily essential products that put into his bag. Yeah. So in that video, the Rob Greenfield talk about the simplicity, and of course he also say that he is an extreme. So he do that is because he want to raise awareness.
Yeah.
Also, you want to give other people let other people know that even though going like this extreme, you still can live very, very well. Yeah. And some others one of some other information is some people thinks, By doing that, you can't get a girlfriend. You can't get a you can't have a child. You can't get marriage. Yeah, I would say this is true. And but in the past, Greenfield has a girlfriend. Yeah, has a girlfriend. Mm. And and he also mentioned in the video, some other people ask him about the family, about the child, and
Yeah.
this is his this is his 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 way of living. Yeah, so this is his life. He decides for his life. Yeah. So one of the code is, yeah, this is your life, and you dis you decide the life you want to live. Yeah, this is one of the codes here. And also Rob Greenfield, he donate all his media income, for example, from YouTube, from the website, from advertising. So he donate all the income to a non-profit organization, and he don't have a bank account.
Wow.
And he don't have like credit card, debit card. And when he need to buy something from online, he asks the friends, he asks his friends help him to buy, and then he pay them the cash. Yeah. And what is his network? Yeah. What's his net worth? Search for online is around 5,000. Yeah, it's around 5,000. This is his net worth. But he did mention in one of his video, and he mentioned that he will keep his annual income similar to the federal rate. The the statement made from the federal rate, which is made from like the government, and about the lowest income. Yeah, the lowest income. So it's also something like the property line, something like the property line. Yeah. He just keep pace with the amount, and he decide how much money he want to earn in that year. And most of his money earned from his public speaking. Yeah. He do a lot of public speaking, and some of them are free and some of them are charged. Yeah, and they just earn income from that. And they also say they don't earn additional money that they don't need. Yeah, they just earn the money that they need. She just earn the money that he needs. Yeah. And in one of his video, it mentioned about he mentioned about the downsizing. And you want to do a downsizing, you need to reduce the consumption. And one of the code is reduce the consumption is better than recycling or reuse. Yeah. So and he also mentioned that some people afraid of throwing the trash, for example, the used phones, the plastic, to the rubbish bin, and they just keep on the drawer. And the Rob Greenfield say, yeah, if this is something that you couldn't recycle, how time you reduce it, this is still rubbish. For example, you have a lot of utensil, and but you already have one set of utensil that you use for daily. Yeah. And you have another set of utensil, and there's a utensil that you don't need to use. And but you think you don't want to waste, and you still keep it, and you use the spare utensil maybe like once per week, or twice per week, or even once per month. Yeah, but but it didn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. Why? Because you already have one set of utensils that you use for daily. Yeah, you don't need the extra ones. Yeah, no matter how many times you reuse it, it still doesn't changes to the earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for example, the plastic. Yeah, even though you draw an art and a very beautiful art on the plastic, it is still plastic. When you die, it still eventually will go to the landfill. Yeah. So when the rubbish already created, so let's say for example, when the plastic already created by the corporation, by the company, it cannot reverse back. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if something couldn't give away to other people and nobody wants, and also you don't need it, and it cannot be recycled, the plastic, and you just throw. Yeah, you just throw. And or something already broken and you don't need it, you don't need to repair. You don't need to repair because you don't need it. You don't need to spend the money, you don't need to spend the resources, yeah, to fix it. Yeah, it just also make another consumption to the earth. So you just throw it. And also, if you keep into your drawer, if there's something natural disaster happen, for example, tornado or some flood or some fire,
Yeah.
it
Earthquake.
actually give a greater damage to the earth because your plastic, yeah, if you throw away your plastic and then the plastic eventually go to landfill and under the ground, you'll be safe. Yeah. And if you put the drawer and if there's something happen, the natural disaster, for example, flood,
Yeah.
and eventually some of those things will go to the oceans. So actually damage the earth greater.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is one of the quotes. Reduce consumption is better than recycling or reuse it. And if you want to help the earth, you need to reduce the consumption at the first place. Yeah, it's not something that you produce a lot of things and then after that you try to think how to reuse it, how to recycling it. Yeah, there's no point.
Yeah.
So the next quote is come from a Telegram group. Yeah, and it actually is about the crypto.
Okay.
But it is more towards, to the investment. Yeah. So the code is like this. It's about the passive income. Yeah, small and steady. Small and steady is better than one shot big. Yeah, the code is something like that. Yeah. So for example, you have one stream of income, one source of income. It is small but steady. But steady. It actually is better than one shot big. If you consider about the perpetuity or the annuity. Yeah. So for example, yeah, let's say you can make a calculation. For example, every month you can get $100. So 12 months, 1 year, you can get 1200. And 1200 if the rate, let's say if the rate is 5%, let's say for example the inflation rate, let's say, or the investment rate, yeah, which is the hurdle rate. Yeah, in finance we call it the hurdle rate.
Yeah.
So if let's say it's 5%, you divide it by 0.05. Yeah. So it is equal to a wealth, a big amount of 24,000. So that means you need 24,000 to generate 1,200 to generate $100 per month. Yeah, you need 24,000, and and if you can get 5% interest rate, on your $24,000 and you can get 1,200. So that's mean if you have a steady and small income, which is 100, just 100 per month, and equal to you have a wealth. You have an accumulation of wealth equivalent to 24,000. Yeah, the something like that.
Yeah.
And you can also think from another way around, from a spending perspective. If you have 100 expenses,
Yeah.
in the foreseeable future, you still need to pay for the expenses. You couldn't think you couldn't think, even though at the end of the world you still need to pay the expenses. If this is the expenses like that, and that's mean it's actually is a debt. It's a debt equivalent to 24,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the first one, and the next one is come from many way. Yeah, come from many way. Sorry, it means come I'm not sure where is it come from, but I this from video. I also read this from book, which is the code is trading. Is also about the investment. Trading is less riskier than investing, and the code can also be adjusted like this. Trading should be less riskier than investing. Yeah. So if you combine these two together, you can get some meaning. The first is trading is less riskier than investing. Yeah, and yeah, if you do the investments and you aim for long term, so you need to bear with the volatility. Yeah, if you do trading and when the for example, let's say you give yourself an action plan when it crossed out the moving average yourself. Yeah, so give yourself a line. You draw a line to yourself. Yeah, so you don't need to hold. You don't need to bear the full volatility. Yeah. So trading is less riskier than investing, but of course, trading is less rewarding than investing. Yeah. So this is the first code. So the second is trading. Trading is trading should be less riskier than investing. Yeah. So this also give you another meaning, which is your trading position should be lesser than investing. Yeah. Trading should be less riskier than investing. So your position size should be lesser than investing. You couldn't put all your money on trading. Yeah. You need to manage the risk. And also in order to do that, okay, in order to make the trading less riskier than investing, so you may need to do more things. Yeah, you may need to do more things to reduce the risk. For example, diversification. For example, you do trading. Okay, if you do trading, you don't need trade one company. You trade for the industry. Yeah. And trading is a short-term things, and investing is a long-term things. So, and also it also means that you need to have a trading plan. You need to have a trading plan. So you draw a line to yourself. When what occurs, I need to sell. When what I need to buy. When what occurs, answer when in what circumstances I will do nothing. Yeah, and you also need to concern about the the position sizing, which I mentioned just now. Yeah, so trading have much thing to do than investing. Yeah. And if you can do all these things, yeah, trading is less riskier than investing. Yeah, but of course, it's also less rewarding. Yeah. But the premise is you need to do all the things. You need to do all the things in. By doing that, you can make the trading less riskier than investing. So this is one of the quotes. And yeah, and the next quote is I get from one video that I watched yesterday.
Okay.
And the video actually is regarding the Everglades, yeah, which is one of the famous or one of the popular, one of the scary and popular news in these few days. Yeah. So in that video, the speaker say that people in China see the price of property keep going up, so they tend to buy more instead of de-risking. So these de-risking here means that if the price keep going up and then you withdraw some money from that, you kind of like sell some, so that you can lower your risk. So that means this is de-risking. Yeah. So when people see the price of property keep going up, they tend to buy more instead of de-risking. This is the quote. Yeah, and it can apply everywhere. It can apply in the stock market. Yeah, it can apply in any in all for all of the financial products. Yeah, and when it occurs, and you know that this is going the bull run is going to the end. Yeah. So yeah, that's all.
Okay. So the last one is yeah, I'm not very fully understand. Do you mean that when let's say the house price, for example, if all of the people they or most of the people they didn't you say de-risk, right? And then you say it is the end of the bull run.
Yeah.
Oh.
They must them. The end point, the turning point, definitely will happen. Just to know when and where. Yeah. So, yeah, you know what is the situation in China? China have a lot of ghost cities. So there's a lot of property, and the property selling cheap, and people still buy it. And one of the statistic I get from the video, and the speaker is also somewhere, but I don't know the source of his the statistic. Is it like this? The first house, the statistics in China show that the first house purchase, so which means the people who buy the first house. Yeah, so the first house purchase is lesser than second house purchase. And then another statistics is the third house purchase is just slightly lower than the first house purchase.
Oh.
Yeah. And one of the statistics is in China, property is 70% of individual net worth. Yeah. So if you combine all of these statistics together, people in China culturally, they more believe to property, they buy property, and if they want to do investment, they just think about invest in real estate, and they keep buying, and until a point that no one want to live in the ghost cities. Yeah, and you can search many video in China. There are many ghost cities, and there are a lot of property. There are a lot of residential property at there and selling at a very cheap price. More people want to buy because that city is kind of like already died. No one wants to stay at here. No one wants to stay at there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, but the people still buying. You look at the statistic, they still keep buying the house, but they couldn't rent a house. Yeah, they buy a lot of house and but no one until the point which is no one want to rent a house because there's so much property. Everyone have the property. They don't need to like rent a property. Yeah, of course, it's not in the big cities. It is in the small cities, and also is in those refer to those ghost cities.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even though like this, people still buying more and more house, but the house cannot give you the real value, and the demand is kind of like because of people believe, they keep pushing the demands, even the quote unquote the real demand is not there anymore. The population didn't increase. Yeah, even though you say China has some policy, okay, and initially it allowed you to have one child. Gradually, the China government allow you to have two child, and then now China allow you to have three child. But it need decade to see the result. And if you see the population statistics, the China population didn't increase that much.
Yeah.
In this decade.
Yes.
Even though you change the policy now, it won't change a lot of things. It couldn't have the real demands. It couldn't have the real demands in these very short times. Yeah. So the real demand is not there. No people want to rent a house in those cities. And yeah, so it's also one of the things we mentioned in the past, the over investing, which is mentioned in one of the economic topics. Yeah, over investments.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, I think no.
Okay. So that's all for our today conversations. How do you feel? Did you enjoy the conversations? Please tell us what you think of our conversations. And we are not native speakers. If you found any vocabulary mistake that we made, please also comment to let us know. Also, want to learn more and improve ourselves. Remember to like, subscribe to us. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.